Merry meet everyone. Today's, well, I'm probably going to do a few videos today. This video is entitled Self-Love Starts with a Storm. I decided for Self-Love September I was going to do weekly videos, kind of journaling what I found in that week. This week has been a very turbulent and stormy week. It started off really positive. I took initiative and started my YouTube channel. I decided I was going to really delve in and get into the spirit of Self-Love September. It was my daughter's birthday weekend this weekend. Goddess Week starts next week, which is now this week. Just all sorts of good things were happening. And I felt positive. I felt warm and fuzzy. I felt joyous and all that jazz. It was awesome. And then something happened. It was Friday at work. I had my self-healing stone and was all geared up and ready to go. And I started thinking, it started off with me kind of going off of what death was. And for me, if you ask me about anyone else, there's something. There's the Summerland or heaven or what have you. Reincarnation is a thing, you know? But for me, and it's always been this way, I don't know that I believe that. I don't know why I would have a different answer for myself, except that question about self-love. I give everyone else there being more to this life, but when it comes to me, I don't. And that began my tailspin. Suddenly, I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I was doing. I don't think I was even, in my mind at that point, and this was through the course of a work day, so, 10 hours basically. I wasn't even a witch. I was just a fraud who wanted to make pretty things and spend money on shinies, and it was just for attention, obviously, because how could there be a god or goddess? How could there be, magic? How could any of that happen? And even if it did happen, why would it happen for me? It was all day that I was thinking these thoughts, and worse. I mean, I know there were worse thoughts. It was terrible. Friday night I spent in tears in my living room just thinking about how ridiculous I looked claiming to be a witch when I had these thoughts. Obviously I'm a fraud. Obviously I'm a fake. I have to go through all my witchy stuff and get rid of it and give it to people that actually can claim this and be strong, because obviously I'm not. And it just kept going and going and going. I realized that self-love is such an amazing thing, but even the smallest self-doubt can tailspin into this huge monster. Self-doubt feeds itself. Hugely feeds itself. To the point where you question everything about you. It got to the point where I was questioning, was I even fit to be a mother at one point? I mean, it got ridiculous. Looking back on it, and this was just yesterday even, I can look back on thoughts that I had yesterday and just go, what the heck? What are you doing? What were you thinking? And I can laugh about it now, but this, I cannot possibly convey to you how drastic my actions were going to be. I mean, not self-harming physically or anything like that, but I know this is my path. I know I have had experiences with Carnunos in hell that have called to me and made them my patron and matron. I know I can make magic. I know I can manifest things. I know I am a child of nature and it is where I belong. I could go on and on about things I know about myself and my path. And all of it was going to be packed in a little box and put away. Because I wasn't good enough. That's what I believed. I wasn't good enough. And I don't know why it started or how it started. It was just a small little thought that grew and grew and grew, and suddenly it was all encompassing. I was drowning in self-doubt. I definitely would call it a storm because it was like waves hitting me as this little boat on this huge sea, and it was kicking my ass. And every positive thought that seemed to be attempted my way, I couldn't hear it. I twisted it into something not right or not true. Oh, you have to say that. Oh, you have to be there. You're just saying that. It's not real. Why do we do this to ourselves? Why do we let negativity affect us the way we do? I know, we're humans. It's gonna happen. But when we start to feel these negative things, why don't we just stop and take a breath and go, okay, what are things I know about myself? I know myself to be X, Y, and Z. If I know myself to be X, Y, and Z, this whole thing I'm freaking out about is not a thing. It is not even in the realm of possibility. If I would have just stopped and really thought about things other people were saying to me, because they couldn't have been coming from me, because at that point there was no positive energy within me. If I would have just stopped and listened to my friends, who at the time I was convinced weren't really my friends. It was so crazy. But if I would have just stopped and listened to them, it would have helped. Because just like self-doubt feeds itself, self-love feeds itself. The minute you see a little bit of sunshine, that sunshine, and I know this is a horribly fluffy analogy, but just stick with me. That sunshine just grows and grows and grows, and pretty soon you've got this light within you. If you have that light within you, any darkness that's produced by self-doubt, self-hate, self-loathing, what have you, gets taken away. We need to balance each other. We're always going to have negativity. We're always going to have some self-doubt because we are humans, and it's going to be there. There's always going to be something we're not confident about. There's always going to be something we're anxious about. There's always going to be something we could better. But it's about balance. We can't let that balance tip. And if we are going to let our balance tip, let it be a balance that tips in favor of self-love and self-acceptance. Why is it I can't look in the mirror and say, okay, yeah, I'm chubby. It's a thing. But I'm still cute. I still like this. I still like that. I can still do this. And if I want to better myself, well, quote unquote, better myself, if I want to lose weight, if I want to get healthier, I can do it. It's within the realm. But if I don't, I mean, oddly enough, even though I am oh so chubby, as long as I'm healthy, then it's all about aesthetics. And I'm still aesthetically pleasing. Maybe not right now because I literally just woke up, but still. Why can't we just acknowledge that, okay, there's work to be done here, and then just work on it? Why do we have to beat ourselves up so magnificently to the point where we pummel ourselves into this little puddle that doesn't do or say anything? We need to empower ourselves. So often I get irritated by people that I need help, I need help, I need help. We all need help, and we all need to ask for it. I truly do believe that. But there are so many people out there that I see and I hear and I go, you're always asking for help, but what are you doing? I'm not shaming people that ask for help because I do it all the time. But we need to also ask ourselves, what are we doing to fix this cycle? Part of being a pagan, I have found at least, is that empowerment is such a huge thing. I go to my God, I go to my goddess, I go to the good folk, I go to the spirits and my ancestors, and I ask them for help. But that help is to strengthen me to do something. And what I find is when it's a simple, easy thing, I mean, relatively easy thing, or more of a materialistic thing, like, oh, I just really need some more prosperity in my life. It's a lot of prosperity wishes. I'll go to them, but I'll know it's on me. And I think going to them helps because when I do so, when I am shopping later that day, I'll think, do I really need this? I mean, I really like this, but I don't need it. And I cite that as petitioning those other beings, those other things, not so much like they've had the power over me, but because I took the time and asked them for their guidance, it's fresh in my mind, if nothing else. And there have been times where, yes, no, it definitely was help from my spirit guide that I walked away from something. But ultimately, we're the ones that need to do things. I can pray all day long for Cernunnos to give me strength and hell to give me acceptance of myself. But if I don't take that step, if I don't look at myself in the mirror and say, yeah, I'm worth it, any work they do is going to be completely and utterly superfluous. It's not going to make a damn bit of difference because I am the instrument. I am what they need to work through. And if I'm refusing to work, when your car is dead, it's dead. Unless you get your battery charged, unless you hook up those jumper cables, it's not going anywhere. If I'm a dead car that's just sitting there going, I'm ugly, I'm stupid, I'm horrible, why would a god or a goddess talk to me? Why would any spirits want to deal with me? Why would any people in real life, like my friends, why are they even my friends? They're not. They're just looking for opportunity. Like they know I'll spend money on them, or they'll know I'll drive them when they're drunk, or they'll know this, or they'll know that. No positivity is ever going to work within me if that is constantly what is on my mind. And that's what it was for these last 2 days. Just any sort of positivity was choked out by the massive amount of negativity that I was creating in and of myself. Self-love begins within us. Self-doubt, unfortunately, also begins within us. And I think because I was working so hard on self-love and I was in a really good positive place. I don't know. I'm not one to claim immediately spiritual attack or psychic vampire or what have you. That's just not my style. At least not when it's me. If someone else claims that, I'll you. But for me, I doubt myself enough and well enough to know when I'm hurting myself, if that makes sense. And that's what it was. I think I was feeling so good about things, I was just waiting for the other shoe to drop. And it was a self-fulfilling prophecy. Suddenly the other shoe did drop because I let it, because I made it. I pretty much shook my leg until that sucker went flying. with any sort of self-love dedication, or especially with something as huge as Self-Love September, we need to really question why we think the negative things we think. I'm not saying, go through a huge shadow meditation every time you think something bad about yourself, but when you are conscious of it, when that bad thought comes into your mind, kind of go, wait, why am I thinking this? What led me to this? Because as I'm sitting here now, finally out of the darkness, so to speak, that sounds way too dramatic, but you know what I mean. I kind of sit here and I'm thinking, why did this start? Where did it begin? And I know I've had that question asked, did someone say something? Did someone ridicule your beliefs? And it's like, no one talked. I was just sitting at my desk, and all of a sudden it hit me that I didn't really believe in any of this. And it's like, but you've always believed in this. Why is this now a question? And it's a question because I self-sabotage myself. I was feeling quote unquote too good about myself. I was feeling too good about where I was. And anytime something good happens, something bad happens. Well, of course something bad happens. I make it happen. That's the reality. That's the storm that self-love brings. When we start, some of us, I am not going to be all inclusive, when some of us start on this path of self-love and self-acceptance, self-discovery, all that jazz, we question everything about it. I never question negativity about me. If, when I think back to like high school with bullying and things like that, I don't question any of the things that were said about me. Because, well, yeah, I am fat. Well, yeah, I am kind of dumb. Well, yeah, I was lying and dishonest, and that was true. But that's another video entirely. But then when I think back to things that people said about me that were positive, well, yeah, they have to say that, or maybe they don't know any better, or maybe this, or maybe that. Why do I put into question everything positive about me, but everything negative I go, yeah, no, it makes sense. We are all amazing and beautiful people. We all have massive amounts of good and positive workings that we can do. And that we do, just in and of it, we just every day. We do incredible things, but we downplay it. We don't give it the proper praise that it's due, because it's just what we do. It's just, smiling to that stranger on the bus. I mean, granted, bus rides can be shady. There's always those people that's like, oh, I don't know about you. And those are judgments I need to work through. But giving that smile to a stranger, you don't know what they've been through. They could have just had their heart broken. They could have just lost their job. They could have just been in a shame spiral like me. And that smile could mean something to them. The other day, my daughter has this way of, when we go through the drive-thru, waving and hi at the people behind the windows, and no one's ever said hi back. No one's ever waved. I usually say, oh, they can't hear you. But it really does bother her sometimes that they're not noticing her, that she's been invisible to them. Trust me, this has a point. And the other day we went to McDonald's, and this woman, we were kind of stuck in line, and this woman at the drive-thru window sat and had a whole conversation with her. And she was so happy the whole way home. Mom, she talked to me. Mom, she was really nice, Mom. Blah, 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 blah. I told the manager, I'm like, she is awesome. Thank you so much. But that was a simple, everyday thing. And it made all the difference. Well, for the last 2 days, I felt incredibly and utterly invisible. That is the best way I can put it. Yet, I was the one that was making myself feel that way. And it took a couple of amazing dreams for me to realize I am powerful. I am strong. And although I'm reticent to say it, I am beautiful. Again, just woke up, so maybe not so much right now. But and there it is, that simple bit of humor and negativity to displace possible judgments people are having. It can grow into something more. Don't feed it. Don't give in to it. As witches, we have magic, and we use it. We have an amazing amount of power within us. And when it's for others, we do amazing good. But when it's for ourselves, 9 times out of 10, I find we let it go to the wayside. And there's that whole thing about, oh my gosh, I just lost it. Self-gain. Most of that, I think, is just a TV gimmick. But I do think, when we're just trying to manifest things just for ourselves or our own self-good, not giving thought to other people, yeah, it's not going to come to fruition. Sorry. It has to be for the betterment of the universe as well as for us. But us feeling positive about ourselves, us looking at ourselves and saying, yeah, I'm good. Us looking at things we create and going, oh my gosh, this is awesome. That's not self-gain. That's for the betterment of the universe, so why don't we do that? This was very much kind of a just off-the-cuff video, so I'm sorry if I got rambly. I'm sorry if I've already apologized for being rambly for like 5 or 6 times. But I did want to, I am going to be doing these videos kind of as a journaling weekly, what I found with self-love, as well as crafting or just other videos. And today on September 6th, International Goddess Day, I woke up and a lot of self-doubt is still there, because again, we always kind of have it. It's about balance. But the storm has finally passed. And I figured I should make this video and share it, because if you're going through a storm, maybe it will help. Everyone goes through this. Everyone doubts themselves. For me, I have a really hard time believing someone skinny and beautiful and perfect physically has self-doubt. But I will say I'm usually the first person to pick out when someone's overly confident. When someone is amazing at everything and thinks they're this and thinks they're that, 9 times out of 10, they are the most self-concerned, that's the wrong word, self-conscious and low-esteem person out there, and they're trying to hide it. I just don't hide it. But the point is, it's all about perception and what you put out there. And just because someone doesn't seem like they have any issues or they doubt themselves, sweetie, they do. Even if they don't tell themselves they do, they do. It's easier to admit, okay, I have these feelings, but I'm not going to let them rule me. When you're in a storm of self-doubt, it is so hard not to let the storm dictate where you go. You become this little boat on this huge ocean, and the waves are just whipping you and are turning the wheel, and it takes forever and a day for you to get to that wheel and turn the boat around and say, nope, 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 we're going here. But as soon as you do, such amazing things can happen, such beautiful things can happen. It's all about you controlling it. We can manifest things, we can create things, we we can see and feel energies, and we can bend them to what we want them to be, and we can purpose them and give them intent. We can do all these insane and crazy things. Why can't we just look at ourselves and do the same thing? Turn that negative power into something positive. Why can't we just look at ourselves and acknowledge that even though, yeah, we probably have some shortcomings, because again, we're human, we're amazing creatures. Everything on Mother Earth is amazing. Everything on Mother Earth is a gift. Guess what, people? That includes us. You know? I've heard this numerous times, and I'm probably going to misquote it, but we're the goddess in flesh. You know? We are made after the goddess. Men, women, children, seniors, what have you. We're in her image. And I look at that as our energies are reflective of that. If our energies are reflective of the goddess, we can do anything. Why do we struggle so much with self-doubt and self-hate and self-loathing when it should be the easiest thing, because it's all within us? Self-hate and self-loathing, self-doubt, all of that, worst weapon ever. And we are the wielders of that. We're also the wielders of self-love. So let's feed that self-love so that it empowers us, so that it shines brighter than any darkness. And that will be my focus on the second week of Self-Love September. And yeah, I'm sorry, this video is now approaching 30 minutes, so I will shut up. But I wanted to share those thoughts, even if it is rambly, even if it does speak to me and no one else. Just putting those thoughts out into the world, I think, is a form of magic. Your breath is magical. The words we speak are as witches, we know our words carry so much weight, and when they're coming from the heart and the soul, there's nothing more powerful than that. So with that, anyone who is dealing with the storm of self-doubt, I give you any and all power to take that wheel and turn that boat around. You are amazing. You are perfect. You just need to see it. And again, you're gonna have doubt. You're gonna have questions. You're never gonna be quite good enough. At least not to you. There's always gonna be something you want to work on, or something that's not quite there. But to everyone else, you are more than good enough. And it just takes a little bit of push, a little bit of focus, a little bit of manifestation for you to see that you're pretty damn good too. So with that, blessed be. And I hope everyone has an amazing, amazing International Goddess Day. And let's keep the positivity going, okay? Within us. Because that shines throughout and creates a better world. That sounds a little hippy-dippy, but you know what I mean. Blessed be, guys. Thanks.